Greetings everyone. I'm Nishalini Chandrasekharan from QIM 501 class. So today I'm going to present my individual presentation on cognitive theory of multimedia learning, which is also known as CTML, and its application in educational video. So these are the contents I'm going to present today. Firstly, the learning objectives and author, introduction, the key elements, cognitive load theory, 12 multimedia learning principles, educational video, and also the application in educational video. So, firstly, let's see the learning objectives for this presentation. At the end of this presentation, we can acknowledge the cognitive theory of multimedia learning, state the key elements of the theory, identify the multimedia learning principles, and understand the application of the theory in educational videos. Next, the author. Who is the author of the cognitive theory of multimedia learning model? So here it is, Richard E. Mayer. He is a distinguished professor of psychology at University of California, Santa Barbara. He is the developer of cognitive theory of multimedia learning model. He has published lots of books. His research focuses on bringing learning science to education, with current projects focusing on multimedia learning, computer-supported learning, and also educational computer games. His study focuses on how to assist people learn in ways that allow them to transfer what they have learned to new settings at the convergence of cognition, teaching, and also technology. As he said, interest should come from the content itself and not from some external adjuncts. Next, the introduction. What is CTML? CTML stands for Cognitive Theory of Multimedia Learning. Multimedia instructional messages that are created with the human brain in mind are more likely to result in meaningful learning than those that are not. The cognitive theory of multimedia learning is based on three cognitive science principles of learning, which are the human information processing system has dual channels for visual or pictorial and auditory. Each channel has a limited processing capacity. Active learning entails performing a coordinated set of cognitive process during learning. Here goes the key elements of CTML, which are dual channel, limited capacity, and active processing. For dual channel, the assumption is that working memory has visual and auditory channels. And for the limited capacity assumption, each subsystem of working memory has a limited capacity. And for the active learning assumption suggests that people construct knowledge in a meaningful way when people pay attention to the relevant materials, organize materials in a coherent mental structure and integrate it with prior knowledge. So now, let's look into the cognitive load theory. John Sweller is the one who developed the cognitive load theory. He published a paper on the subject in the journal Cognitive Science in 1988. Sweller said that since working memory has a limited capacity, instructional methods should avoid overloading it with additional activities that don't directly contribute to learning. Here is the three main parts of the process. Firstly, the sensory memory and working memory. Finally, the long-term memory. Sensory memory refers to the believed storage of sensory information. It consists of sensory information retained in unprocessed form in the sensory system through which it entered. For the working memory, most of the information that gets into sensory memory is forgotten, but information that we turn our attention to with the goal of remembering it may pass into working memory. It is the place where small amounts of information can be temporarily kept for more than a few seconds, but usually for less than 1 minute. And for the long term memory refers to the storage of information over an extended period. This type of memory tends to be stable and can last a long time, which often for years. It is the memory storage that can hold information for days, months, and even years. The capacity of long term memory is large. So, here I've attached the information processing model where it starts with a sensory input and it will store into sensory memory. Whichever the unattended information is lost, but however, the information that has given attention will be stored or will be directed to the short term memory. So, the unrehearsed information in short term memory is tend to loss. However, the maintenance of rehearsal it may encode to the long term memory. So, when they maintain the rehearsal, it might retrieve from the long term memory. But however, some information may be lost over time. So now let's move on to the 12 multimedia learning principles. So here's the first three multimedia learning principles, which are coherence, signaling, and also redundancy principle. So for coherence, learners learn better when extraneous words, images, and sounds are not included. And for signaling, learners learn better when clues are used to highlight key ideas. And for redundancy, learners learn better when visuals are explained with words in audio or text, not both. And as the fourth principle, the spatial contiguity. Learners learn better when corresponding text and visuals are placed close together on the page or screen rather than far apart. And for the temporal contiguity, learners learn better when corresponding text and pictures are presented simultaneously rather than successively. And for the segmenting principles, learners learn better when a multimedia lesson is presented in bite sized segments rather than as a continuous unit. And next, the pre training principle, where learners learn better from a multimedia lesson when they know the key terms of the main concepts. And for the modality principle, learners learn better from graphics and narrations than from animation and on screen text. And for the multimedia principle, they learn better from text and pictures than from words alone. So please try to avoid lots of text when you do a multimedia project. And next, the personalization principle, where learners learn better from multimedia lessons when words are in conversational style rather than a formal style. And for voice principle, learners learn better when the narration of multimedia lessons is spoken in human voice rather than a robotic computer voice. As for example, you can see the Siri system or the Alexa. We can conclude that they use human voice rather than a robotic computer voice. And for the image principle, learners learn better when relevant visuals are used rather than the speaker's image. And next, for the educational video. So, what is educational video? It is a virtual medium that uses videos to assist individuals or learners in better learning subjects. An educational video's goal is to aid in the learning process while also educating the learners. Now let's see the examples of educational videos. So firstly, the screencasts. Screencasts are just one of many different types of instructional videos. A screencast is a digital video and audio recording of a computer screen and usually includes audio. Screencasting is also referred to as a video screen capture on a presenter's computer screen and is a great way to teach or share ideas. Common examples of screencasts are on-screen tutorials, video lessons, or SlideShare recorded presentations. A major benefit of screencasting is that the viewer can watch the screencast at a time when it's best for them because learning doesn't always take place in an academic setting. Next is the presentation. A presentation is the most popular form of multimedia presentation with a duration of several seconds or minutes that provides and shows the information and benefits of a product, service, or any idea with the help of interesting graphic images, animations, and appropriate narration. Video presentations able to persuade their targeted audience through audio-visual storytelling, sights, and sounds into the mix. The video presentation also allows learners to access anytime, anywhere, and is also time efficient. Now, let's see the animations. Animated educational videos or educational animations are produced for specific fostering learning purposes. The animation videos act as visual supporting tools for student learning. As we all know, students kind of attracted to animations and it will easier the learning process. They visualize textual materials and help students for better understanding. The advantage of educational animation is that it visualizes subjects for better understanding, which means easily visualizing and simplifying anything no matter how complex it is. In addition, animated educational videos make learning faster, improve student engagement, and also motivate them to learn more. Finally, the lectures recording. So, lecture recording refers to the process of recording and archiving the content of lecture, conference, training, or even seminar. Lecture recording also can be referred as the recordings that are taken during a class and are then made available to students once the class ends. Lecture recording has been used in the flipped classroom learning model as a means to provide materials outside of traditional lectures or seminars. There are three potential streams of lecture recording, including audio from the lecture and class discussions, visual resources, including slideshows, and the video in the classroom. The benefits of lecture recording are that it provides flexibility to view or review the content at their own pace and allows them to use other resources at the same time they view the recordings. Finally, let's see the application in educational video. There are four effective practices of CTML application in educational video. Firstly, the signaling, which helps direct learners' attention, thus targeting particular elements of the video for processing in the working memory. And the second one is segmenting, used to chunk information or the chunking of information in a video lesson. Reading. Reading used to eliminate interesting but extraneous information that does not contribute to the learning objective can provide further benefits. The last one is the matching modality. It conveys new information by using both the audio or verbal channel and the visual or pictorial channel. Now, let's watch an example of an instructional video which applies the practices of CTML.
We think it's time for a new period of periods. Every beginning can be difficult, and it may take you a few periods to get the hang of your menstrual cup. But follow our guide and you'll soon become a dedicated cup convert. Before using your Organicup for the first time, you should sterilize the cup in boiling water. Make sure you use enough water and that the cup doesn't burn on the bottom of the pan. After 3 to 5 minutes, the cup is sterilized and ready to be used. Step 1. Insertion. Use warm water and a mild perfume-free soap such as Organowash for sanitizing your hands and cup. Find a comfortable position. You can either squat down, put one foot on the toilet, sit on the toilet, or simply stand up. You will quickly find out what works best for you. There are various folding methods. Experiment and find your favorite. For a punch-down fold, push the rim down to the base and pinch the cup together so it doesn't pop open. The punch-down fold provides the smallest diameter, thereby making insertion easier. For a C fold, fold Organicup in half lengthwise. For a 7 fold, fold Organicup closed and bring one top corner down diagonally to the opposite bottom corner. It's important to completely relax when inserting Organicup. Insert the folded cup into your vagina. When the entire cup is inside, simply remove your fingers and let it pop open. Make sure the cup is unfolded by feeling around the base of the cup. It should be round or oval. If you feel any dents or folds on the base with your finger, it means that it is not unfolded. Gently hold the base of the cup, not the stem, and try to rotate it from side to side to ensure it is sealed. When in place, try to pull the stem a bit. If you feel some resistance, a vacuum has been created and the cup has been placed successfully. You may want to use water or water-based lubricant to make insertion easier. If using a lubricant, simply apply a tiny amount to the rim. When inserted correctly, Organicup is entirely leak-free. And no, it won't fall out. Due to the vacuum, the menstrual blood won't come into contact with air, meaning no odors, ultra-hygienic, and antibacterial. Step 2. Wear. About 1/4 of the fluids absorbed by a tampon are natural and necessary vaginal secretions. Organicup only collects, thus eliminating irritation and dryness while ensuring the natural pH balance is kept intact. Organicup can contain 3 to 5 times as much as a regular tampon, which means most people just need to empty Organicup morning and evening. That means no period interruptions during work, school, sports, dancing, swimming, sleep, or, whenever. Step 3. Removal. Use warm water and a mild perfume-free wash such as Organowash for sanitizing your hands under clean running water. Being relaxed is essential for the removal of your cup, so find a comfortable position. We suggest you try squatting down, sitting on the toilet, or putting one foot on the toilet. To remove the cup, pull the stem while using your stomach muscles to push Organicup downwards until you can reach the base. Gently squeeze the base to release the vacuum and slide the Organicup out, gently rocking it from side to side. Empty the cup into the toilet. Rinse the cup with water and mild soap. Remember the air holes. If you don't have access to clean water, simply use toilet paper and rinse when you're back home. Or use a sanitizing wipe. Most people never have to because of the 12-hour capacity, though. Once the cup is clean, you can reinsert it. If your period is ended, boil the cup for 3 to 5 minutes, or use a sanitizing wipe such as Organowipe, and store in the original Organicup cotton bag. Tips and facts. The cup sits below the cervix in the vaginal canal. If the cup sits too high, you might experience leakage. There's a big variance in the size and shape of the vagina. A recent study determined the average vaginal canal to be 6 centimeters deep, but it can span from 4 to 10 centimeters. All women have differently positioned cervixes, and it varies how high or low the menstrual cup is placed in the vagina. If you feel the stem and find it uncomfortable after a couple of tries, you can cut it shorter. Did you know that the average amount of bleeding during an entire period is just 2 to 4 tablespoons? But again, everyone is different and the amount of flow greatly varies from person to person. One study measured a range from just a single drop to half a liter. Until you get 100% hang of it, you may want to wear a pad or panty liner so you don't have to worry about accidental leakage. 350,000 plus women already made the switch to OrganiCup, and 9 out of 10 who try it continue to use it. If you're still experiencing any issues after trying the cup 1 to 2 periods or have any questions, please go to organicup.com.
So yeah, by watching this video, this instructional video, we can conclude that all 4 practices of CTML being applied to this educational video, which is firstly the signaling. We can observe that from their color contrast they have used, which relates to their theme, which is menstruation, and the keywords they have used throughout the video. And for the segmenting, we can see they have chunked down the chapters, and they have also uploaded in YouTube, and you can see that they have particular timeline for their each chapters. So next, for the reading, we can see they kept the background quite simple and very plain, just the colors, and they have avoided unnecessary background music throughout the video. And lastly, for the matching modality, they have also included a narrated animation which explains detailedly on the processes, and also they have utilized the verbal and visual channel. So that's my presentation. Thank you and have a nice day.